Hi, Louise Morrissey here, and you're listening to Seamus Long on Irish Country Music Radio.
I've sang on almost every stage in Ireland. I'm thankful for all I have today. Yes, I'm thankful for all I have today. I've sang on almost every stage in Ireland, and I'm thankful for all I have today. Yes, I'm thankful for all I have today.
Now, Louise Morrissey there, of course, and All I Have. And, well, would you believe it? All I have on the other end of the line is Miss Louise Morrissey herself. Hello, Louise, how are you?
I'm very well, Seamus. How are you?
I'm not too bad at all, not too bad at all. If we could keep the bad weather away now, we wouldn't be doing too bad, you know, yourself. What's it like where you are?
I know, Seamus. I'm here in Tipperary and I'm looking out the window and it's raining away, but hopefully maybe by tomorrow things might start to clear up again.
Yeah, it's supposed to be, well, although, like, I'm hearing some people are saying it's going to be a bad week, and then others are saying it's going to be a good week, so this is supposed to be a good week anyway, so we'll have to run with it and see what'll happen anyway, you know yourself.
Exactly, we'll have to, we live in hope away the whole time.
We live in hope
for the summer, we're just waiting away for the summer to come.
I think we got that there over the last couple of months now, and we're suffering for it, like, you know, so these things happen. So now, Louise Morrissey, I know you look like you're only a young one, and every time I see you seem to be getting younger looking, but you're on the road a little while now. And
I am.
Yeah, well, now, of course, you're only 21, much the same as myself, but you've been on the, because I remember working with yourself back in, was it 1990? Would that have been? Yeah, around about that time. Thereabouts, yeah. But you were on the road a little bit before that as well, or how did you get in on the music scene? Did you, like, were you singing around the place when you were a little girl, or did it just...
Yeah, Seamus, I would come from a musical family. Both my parents were musical, and my father was a farmer, and there's 6 of us in the family altogether. I've got 3 brothers and 2 sisters, and music was always encouraged in our house when we were growing up. Dad used to play in a local band, you know, as a young man. He gave it up when he got married, you know, to Mam, but you know, because he didn't want to be, you know, gone playing at night and all that, but he played the saxophone and the fiddle, and when we were all young, we all got an opportunity, you know, to be involved in music, and, you know, we were sent for, you know, guitar lessons or, you know, whatever we wanted to learn, really, you know, and it was just very much encouraged. We always had sing-songs in the house at Christmas time, or whenever, you know, there'd be a family gathering or a few, you know, visitors with the aunts and uncles home from England. There was very often a sing-song, and even to this day, in our own houses, when we have, you know, the family together, we try and continue on that tradition of a couple of songs, even with our nieces and nephews and everything. So it's, you know, it's lovely. So it's always been part of our lives, really. Music has been a big part of our lives.
Yeah, like, it's hard to beat when you have a bit of a family gathering, like, I mean, and being able to say, you know, when you would have been a young one, get up there, Louise, there, and sing an old song for us, and sure, Auntie Bridie or Uncle Johnny or whatever be singing, you know, sitting back delighted with themselves, you know, it's a great little form of, you know, I mean, it makes a party, any sort of a family gathering or any sort of a gathering whatsoever. Like, I mean, if someone is able to get up and sing a song, like, music, it's never a burden as such, like, you know.
No, it never is. And I mean, music is a gift, and it's a joy, as people would say as well. And it's a lovely thing. I mean, people, you know, people can go off and learn to play guitar or a piano or a tin whistle or whatever it is, you know, but that doesn't mean that they have to go down the road of making their living out of it. But it's a lovely thing to have. You know, and even for kids, like all my nieces and nephews, and I see even in our family, the next generation, like there's grand nieces and grand nephews, and, you know, they're all very small, and already you can see the signs of music in some of them already. You know, they're, you know, from kind of there's a little fella there of my sister's grandchild, and he's only 5. and his little brother is 3. But the two of them, they've got 2 little toy guitars, and they're always singing. And then there's another little small fella, little grandnephew, and he's up in Dublin, and his daddy used to play in a band. Now he doesn't anymore, but he's got a set of drums, and he's got his own little toy set of drums. Do you know what I mean? But like the music, it's like it's there and it's coming out, and it's lovely. It's fun to see it actually coming out in them. The way they react to music and stuff. But it's a lovely thing, and any of us that can do it for a living, it's even better again. And I've been very lucky that I've been able to earn a living from it since I've been in my teens.
Yeah, and like you, as you say, you're in the family band. Although I'm just getting the vision here now of the little 3-year-old, the 5-year-old, and the other fella, and all you need is a keyboard player, and you have a band.
That's all they need. Listen, watch this space. Another 15 years or so now, they could take off.
Just imagine the 2 little fellas and strumming away, and the other fella there and beating away in the drums, and sure, I'm sure you'll be able to find someone to stick in beside him there with a little keyboard, small little fellow with a keyboard, and he's looking out over the top or reaching up with his fingers.
I know.
But you were saying anyway, you had the family band, and at what stage then did you decide to set off on your own, like to go out on your own, Louise?
Yeah, well, I started the band, Seamus, in 1988 into the country music scene. But before that, I was with my brothers, Billy and Norman. We were together for years as the Morrisseys.
Yeah, I remember well.
And, we were very young when we started out, and we were still going to school. And but it was good fun. It was great fun, and, we had great times and all that. And but I just always had a love for the country music. And I found, as I was getting older, I was leaning more in that direction. And, we started the band in 1988. I know the years are absolutely flying, and it's frightening when you think back and say, my God, how did that happen? How are all these years after going by so quickly? But, I've been lucky. I've had a great time. I've had a great run over the years, and have had the great pleasure of working with some great musicians, different guys who came and went over the years in the band, because that's what happens with bands. There's always a bit of chopping and changing with musicians going on. But, I've worked with great people, and I've really enjoyed every bit of it. And over the last maybe 10 years, I suppose now, I've been working mostly 99% now in just concerts and just doing guest spots on shows, where there's other singers and there's a band there for the night, that'll back everybody and stuff. And I do a little bit from time to time with the Ryan Turner band as well, if somebody, if there was like a festival or something like that, But great people and great friends made over the years in the business.
Yeah, as you said, Ryan Turner, you couldn't get a better backing band anywhere, could you? They're
great. The boys are great, and they're very popular.
Very much so.
They would be appearing on an awful lot of country shows where they are backing all the artists. That whoever's running the show will book them as the backing band for the night, and they really are super. They're a great bunch of lads.
You could, with the Ryan Turner band, you could throw whatever you like at the lads, and they're able to just pick it up and run with it,
Oh, yeah, they can, yeah.
Very, very much so,
Yeah.
No, but of course, you've been, if I'm not mistaken, across the water as well. There's one pond on the, depends on what side you're looking at, but across to England. But have you been to the States as well, if I'm not mistaken?
I have actually, yeah. In the earlier days again with my brothers, we would have gone over to the States a good bit now years ago and worked, the Irish scene over there. And then with the band, I've been over several times, doing, Irish weekends, Irish festivals. I've done the Irish American All-Star Country and Irish cruise a couple of times as well, and I've worked a bit in Newfoundland in Canada as well. There's a great country music, sort of country and Irish music scene in Newfoundland, and it's a great place to visit. It's like you chopped off a bit of Ireland and you just pulled it across the Atlantic and put it right beside Canada. It's just the culture is so much like Ireland, but of course, like it has a very strong Irish culture because that's where people first would have gone, from Ireland years ago.
Yeah.
But a great place, and I've been over and back to England and Scotland a lot more so now in the last few years as well, Seamus. I would be part of a tour, the Stars of Irish Country, and there's with James McGarrett, he puts it together. A couple of tours there during the year, and a lot of us work for James throughout the year here in Ireland as well, and it's great, and all concerts and hitting some of the Irish centres as well, Leeds and Birmingham and all that. So thank God it's all good, and it's been very good, all along.
Yeah. And now you mentioned, of course, there that, I know with the Morrisseys, it was a sort of more of a trad sound to it. And you said you were leaning more towards the country. And who would have been who would have kind of been drawing you towards the country? Was there any particular artist that would have made you veer towards country more so than go the other way,
Yeah, I would have been a big Emmylou Harris fan.
Oh, yeah.
And, I play guitar myself, and I would have always enjoyed watching other female singers who played guitars, and, a big fan of hers. I also loved the Judds, Winona Judd.
Yeah.
And even more from the folk scene as well, I would have loved Joan Baez and Judy Collins, and, just watching them as sort of, and trying to pick up little things,
tips,
from watching them play guitar and all that. Yes, so I was leaning more into the country scene, and I have to say Emmylou Harris would have been one of my big influences, and I've recorded a good few of her songs. I love her music, and I would listen to it a lot, even just at home here or in the car. I just love it. I love the old style country, Seamus. I'm not a huge fan of the very modern sort of American
the bro
country.
rock, as they call it,
it's crossover pop.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's more pop, and I would be more into the more traditional country music now, I have to say.
And if there was I'm presuming then if you were given a choice of any artist to work with or have worked with, I'd say Emmylou then would be up rather high on that little list, would she?
Oh God, she would, of course. I'd only be thrilled if that opportunity was to ever come my way. I'd certainly be thrilled. But throughout the years, I was lucky. I got to tour with Charlie Pride years ago in England.
Yeah.
It was a 3-week tour in England, and I was there with my band as well. And we did 6 nights a week for the 3 weeks all over England and Scotland. And that was great now. And he was a lovely man, really, really nice man. And then going back a few years back as well, I had the opportunity of working with Chris Christopherson, which was absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
And that was in Newfoundland in Canada, where the promoter that I would have gone over and worked for, in Newfoundland, he would have brought over a lot of the Irish artists, to put together a tour, and all that. But anyway, he was bringing Chris Christopherson into Newfoundland as part of his Canadian tour, and they wanted a female artist who would open the show for him, and who would just be able to perform kind of on her own, if you like.
Yeah.
Because he wasn't carrying a big band himself, he was just coming in on his own as well. So they wanted that sort of act, to open up the show for him. So I was asked would I like to do it. So God, I was thrilled, and it was lovely, to get to meet him as well. And it was in a huge stadium. I think there was 6,000 people there.
Wow,
and
yeah.
It was a just brilliant experience. But he was lovely, really, really nice person. Lovely to meet him.
You were saying your prayers and delighted with yourself that you had learned how to play the guitar that time.
My little guitar, I was very glad of it, I'll tell you. Yeah. It was great. It was a great experience. Yeah.
He'd be saying to the little nephews, look what happens if you play your guitar. Go on, keep practicing away, lads.
Exactly.
And would there have been other artists then that you've had the privilege of working with, from the American country scene? Yeah,
there was actually, going back years ago again. I think it could be maybe about 10 years ago, or maybe a little more, 10 or 11 years ago. I was part of Queens of Country tour here in Ireland, and that show, that tour had Billy Joe Spears.
Wow, yeah.
And Lynn Anderson, who had the
Rose
big hit
Garden.
with Rose Garden. And Jeannie Seeley, who is, a lifelong member of the Grand Ole Opry, and she had a lot of big hits in America as well. And then Dee Riley was on the tour, Dee, who lives in America. And she was on the tour as well, and Philomena Begley and myself. So we just had a great time all around Ireland. We did all the tour, and it was just great crack. And it was just lovely to work with all those ladies, that you're listening to since you were a child, and you would have never thought or dreamt that you'd actually get to sing on the same stage or be on the same tour as them. And and like we were all out on stage together at the end and singing together and all that. We just had a great time, and it was lovely. And sadly now, Billy Joe, as everybody knows, has passed away, and also Lynn Anderson. But they were just fantastic artists.
But isn't it great to be able? If you were writing when you were a little one, writing a letter to Santa, and you asked, "Could I work with these people, please, Santa Claus?" he definitely delivered.
Oh God, he did. Oh, sure. All I was asking for was a doll or something like that, But no, but to be honest, I suppose nobody thinks or dreams, when they are starting out as a young person, that you would actually get to work with these people later in your career. And it was just lovely. It was, and I'm very happy that I got that opportunity and those different opportunities over the years, to work with such great people. And of course I've worked with loads of great Irish singers as well, and there's lots of us who work together on a regular basis on different shows and tours around here in Ireland as well, and I love working with them and singing with them, and I love catching up with them for the chat in the dressing room or the green room before the show and all that. It's always good. Love working with different people and different singers.
Yeah, there's always a great crack because, there's stories told of places you've played and people, do you know so-and-so from wherever, and there's always great crack. It's actually, when I go to a concert myself, say the big concerts or the awards nights, I'm nearly happier sitting off inside in the green room, chatting to all the different lads and ladies, and just reminiscing on places and whatnot. Much more, I know it's a devil to go to these and not actually see what's happening now on the stage, but there's so much crack inside that...
well, there is, there's always, a room where everybody sort of hangs out.
Yeah.
And, where there's tea and sandwiches and the whole lot, and just everybody just sort of waits around there until it's their turn to go on stage, and a few friends will always pop their heads in, be like yourself, Seamus, or anybody just pop in and say hello to everybody, and there's always a good bit of banter and a bit of crack going on, and it's just always lovely to catch up with everyone, because when the show is over, then everybody sits into their cars and they're all gone off home in different directions, and our paths don't cross again until we're all on a show together again. So it is always nice to catch up.
Yeah, because I think there is some people that have, the way there's just, I suppose, a preconception that all the different artists nearly live with each other or something. That they're all working out of the one little house or something.
Yeah.
When actually the only time that you actually do get a chance to catch up with a lot of the other artists is at an awards night or a big concert or something. So there is always a bit of banter going on then,
Yeah, no, it is, and it is lovely. It's like, anybody, people who are working together in different jobs, they love to catch up and stuff. But for us, because we're all living different parts of the country, it's only on a show like that we do get a chance to catch up, and you kind of fall in where you left off the last night. That's the way it goes. And it's great. Sure, it's lovely.
Yeah. Now, usually you'd be asking someone, what big plans have you got at the moment, Louise? But sure, with the whole COVID thing, it's all those plans have gone out the window. Everything
is on hold. Certainly in the entertainment industry. Just everything right across the board, from country bands, singers, musicians, theatres. I was looking at the news the other day, all the musicals, the theatres, everything, dances, everything is just stopped at the moment. And like, please God, we'll all get back to it. Maybe at the end of the year.
Hopefully.
We don't know. I suppose we just have to wait and see what the guidelines are going to be, and if it'll be, if it'll be safe, to run the dances or the concerts. But with social distancing and with everything like that, it's going to be difficult for a lot of promoters, kind of financially, because they're going to have to work with a much smaller crowd.
Yeah.
Capacity. If you're in a venue that would maybe normally a big concert and 4 or 5 or 6 singers all on the one show, and there could be anything 500, 600, 700 people all at the show and all having a great time. Well, you see, they can't do that now.
No.
So with having to keep people separated and all that, I don't know how they'll work it out, but look, the main thing is that people keep safe and stay safe. I mean, and including ourselves, we have to mind ourselves. Everybody has to mind themselves, going out and kind of keep themselves safe as much as possible, because like health is number one, isn't it, really? Above all.
There was an old fella, an older gentleman, shall we say. He's actually 82 years of age, and he was in the post office with me today, and he said, God, he says, how are you supposed to have a waltz with a woman now? He says, sure, God, he said, only hope you'd have be getting her to hold the one end of a bamboo stick, he says, and you hold the other end of it, he says, and work away like that. He said, God, he says, you couldn't have a waltz or nothing. So.
It's looking that way at the moment anyway, isn't it? I mean, but it is like, I mean, who would have ever thought or dreamed that something like this could happen?
Yeah.
In the modern world, that this virus has come out of nowhere, and like it's still there. And I mean, I think that the Irish people, our government, have done a great job in slowing it down, and the people have been great and all that, to kind of go along with all the guidelines, to keep themselves safe, keep everybody else safe. But at some stage, people do need to get back to work, and it's great to see so many places, opening up again, and the restaurants and shopping. Of course, all the women listening in tonight, we all love our shops and our shopping, even if we didn't buy anything, but we love to go for a look around anyway in the shops. But look, health and safety is number one in all of this, and please God, there'll be a vaccine found, and that everybody will be able to get back to their socialising and their dancing and their concerts.
Oh yeah,
in a safe way, sooner than later.
Hopefully, please God, hopefully. But I tell you now, actually, when I do mention someone being 82 years of age, there's a gentleman listening in, would you believe it, Louise, and he is 82 today. And his name is Peter Rose, and he's listening in Chester in England. And his son
hello,
Brian and his wife Yvonne were wondering, would you be able to say a quick hello to Peter Rose from Chester?
Of course I will. Hello, Peter, and a very happy birthday to you and to all your family there. And I hope that you're enjoying the chat on the radio this evening, and thanks for texting in, and I have a great time for your birthday and hope that they're all spoiling you rotten.
Hopefully. If not, will there be questions asked?
Exactly, they'll have to answer to us.
They will. We're going to be kind of the birthday police now. That's the way we're going to work these things, So, and we have Ron Hinsley is listening in over there in England as well, Wolverhampton.
Hello, Ron. Nice to hear from you as well.
And we have Dolores Corrigan is listening in, and if you wouldn't mind saying a quick hello there to Dolores.
Of course. Hi, Dolores. I hope you're keeping well.
And my own sister is actually listening in over there in New York, would you believe?
And lovely, very nice.
Oh, yeah. Liz or Elizabeth or whatever. Well, it's like this. We've called her a lot of things in our time, herself, family and all that. But Liz or Elizabeth, anyway, and her husband Rudy are listening in as well.
Hello, Liz and Rudy over there in New York, and I hope you're all keeping safe. Actually, I've got 2 uncles in New York. One lives in Yonkers. My Uncle Basil lives in Yonkers, and my Uncle John lives in Queens in New York. So they're my mother's 2 youngest brothers, yeah.
All right.
So
Because
hello to everybody over there.
Because she's actually in Queens herself. Astoria, I think, is where she is now at the moment. So she's she's moved around a bit over the years over there, but I think it's Astoria she's in over there now anyway. And of course we have who was it? Nicola Arnold is listening in, and she has Kaylee. There's Sonny, there's Mini Gigi as we call him, Ian Arnold, and of course there's Aoife as well, all there together.
Lovely. Hello to all of you as well, Nicola and everybody. Hello to you all, and thanks for texting in.
And Maureen Burke is listening in there in Leitrim.
How are you, Maureen, up in Leitrim? Hello.
Yeah. And Michelle Orr, she's over there in Bedford in England as well.
Yeah, hi Michelle and everybody in Bedford.
Yeah, and then I have a couple of ladies that were working with me today in the post office there in Bunclody, Sharon and Anne, and they're listening in, and they're not expecting me to actually give them a mention, so I'm going to either make or ruin their night. No, I surely can.
Hello Sharon and Anne in Bunclody.
Yeah, and Rebecca O'Connor is listening in as well.
Hi, Rebecca.
And actually, would you believe it, JP on the station here, JP McNeilis, and he's a huge fan of yours. Now, rumour has it that JP has posters of yours all over his house. He was saying he was redecorating now during the week there, but I think it's only updating the posters he has of you up on all the different walls all over his house. So.
Oh, God, JP, you'll get better soon. It'll pass.
It'll pass. Yeah. But actually, I tell you, say hello there to Caroline Walsh as well there, and Sean Deanahan listening in as well.
Hello, Caroline. Hello, Sean.
I
haven't seen him for ages. I haven't met anybody for ages, but great to have them all tuned in and listening in.
Yeah, as I was saying earlier on, it's a kind of the prisoners of COVID-19.
I know, yeah, isn't it terrible? Yeah, that people haven't seen each other. I mean, I only met up with some of my own family in the last 2 weeks. We hadn't seen each other at all since before the lockdown. Some of the family. Yeah. So it's lovely to be able to catch up.
It is, and I tell you, it's been great to catch up with yourself, because I always have great chats with yourself, Louise. And sure, as I say, we've known each other more than a year or two now at this stage, so it's always great to catch up with you. And thanks a million for dropping by for a quick chat there this evening.
Delighted, Seamus, and thanks for having me on your show, and it's lovely to catch up with you as well.
No problem at all. But thanks a million to Louise Morrissey, as I said. And definitely, folks, if you ever get a chance, she's one brilliant artist. So if you ever get a chance and you see Louise on a bill anywhere, definitely drop in and catch her in action. One of the best voices you'll find anywhere. And of course, a performer with immense experience as well. So thanks a million, Louise.
Thank you very much, Seamus, again. And thanks to all the people who texted in as well tonight to say hello, and to all your listeners. Just, hi everyone, and just keep safe, and please God, we'll see you all soon on a stage soon.
Yeah, thanks a million, no problem at all. Well, actually, hold on there now. Oh yeah, no, I thought I was getting a little message in there for someone. It's just a friend of mine sent me a picture of a fish. So, the world I reside in is a strange place, Louise. It sure is. Anyway, thanks a million, Louise. And this is one of Louise's with Billy Yates from a couple of years ago. Buenas do Dia Erdogan. I think that's the way to pronounce it anyway.
Thank you, Seamus.
Thank you, Louise. Thank you.
I tell you as I hold you beneath the moonlight, why it don't break my heart to see.
Bringing you the best in country and Irish music. This is your station, irishcountrymusicradio.com.